There was an investigation, right? That and there was a Haaretz article, and you guys did a report on it. And it's a coordinated influence campaign called Prison Break, and it consists of more than 50 false Twitter accounts spreading propaganda that is basically meant to incite a revolution against the Republic of Iran amongst Iranian audiences.
So, I mean, really, I mean, this report is actually quite dense and has associated reporting on fake videos, fake bot accounts, direct incitements to riots, and even a fake video of the bombing of Evin Prison, trying to frame it as a surgical strike that opened the door and freed the prisoners and would incite a broader riot. And there were associated tweets from these fake accounts telling people to go to the prison, go free the people. But obviously Iranians were being bombed, like the gas stations were being bombed, residential buildings were being bombed. 1,000 Iranians were killed in the 12-day war. And people don't even know that. A lot of people think it was just attacks on the nuclear facilities. But these, and these accounts could then be traced to Israeli private contractors. And frankly, NIAC, we're a small nonprofit, small organization. I mean, I told you about our members. We publish our tax returns. We're a small organization. We're familiar with this network of accounts because during the Women Life Freedom movement, while we were walking that line of standing with internal revolutionary change from Iranians, while also opposing foreign backed wars for outside-led regime change, they were smearing loads of Iranian Americans as lobbyists for the regime. I'm a Jewish Iranian American. The Iranian government just detained a Jewish Iranian American and is holding them in Evin Prison. Like, I can't go there because they would accuse me of being of Israeli spy. Like the absurdity of that accusation, frankly, reveals just how desperate they are to disqualify reasonable voices in this. And the lengths that they've gone to, that's really illustrated in better detail than I can explain in this report, are staggering. I mean, the fake accounts, the fake videos, amplified by Israeli private contractors and influence networks, and I'll name it too, the Reza Pahlavi monarchist lobby, which affiliates closely with the Israel No Matter What lobby. That's what I like to call them. It's very concerning. It's just like very. It's even a cheap. It's kind of a cheap, weird reconstruction of the 1953 coup to reinstall this man, because Iranian discontent and the Iranian people's feelings about their government are very well known. During the Women Life Freedom movement, there were protests in every province of Iran, and people fought and died for improving their civil rights. And they continue to do so with or without our help of bombs and sanctions. But no one protested to reinstall the Shah's son during the 12-day war. People were just worried about their friends, their family. And it was the framing around all this is really absurd and desperate from the Israel No Matter What lobby that wants war with Iran and wants to sabotage U.S.-Iran diplomacy. We had 5 rounds of talks before this war.
Right. And so here's the bombing of the Evin Prison. 6 locations at the Evin Prison identified by BBC Persian as hit by IDF airstrikes. So what is the significance of this?
I think the bombing of Evin Prison was amongst a targeted list that the Israelis had put together of sites you should hit when you want to incite a revolution. They also hit a state TV station. They hit, they took out a large swath of Iranian military members, but they also took out hundreds of civilians and women and children. And they were trying to incite and thought, and in many ways almost believed their own propaganda in pushing the Shah's son on as this option that could just waltz in, and after a few bombings, people would just create a red carpet and rebel. They were completely miscalculated, I think, just how ordinary Iranians would react to being, frankly, carpet bombed. And the hope, as I've maintained, and as I think I speak to hundreds of Iranian Americans every week, like, regardless of how you feel about the regime, nobody wanted their family to be bombed. And the majority of Iranian Americans supported a deal and supported the talks that were going on because they offered a alternative to what the hardliners in Iran say and preach, and a clearer path to sanctions relief and to some trust in the U.S. word right now would go a long way, because we have a long way to come back from, based on where things are at. And yeah, I think more people, especially in the United States, are aware, and they see, and especially ordinary Iranians who may have thought that this campaign would lead to a regime change have now seen the effects of what that looks like. So, seeing apartment buildings blown up and no one protests. Yeah.
So, like, what did they do around this bombing? Because they did bomb it, right? But what was the misinformation that they put out?
Oh yeah. So if you scroll down to the into the article, keep scrolling down, and you can find the fake video and the fake tweets that these bot accounts put out, trying to instigate people to go, riot and free the prisoners. And the irony of this is that
is this where it is? Tell us when to stop.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay, kids, did you hear the sound of the explosion from Evin Prison? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's a fake video that was later found out to be fake. And the irony of all this is that Evin Prison is home to the activists and people who have organized and risked more to change and fight against the oppression of the Iranian government than any of these people on any of these accounts. And it's absurd. There was over 100 people killed in this bombing. And these accounts and these videos tried to frame this as a surgical, look at how brilliant this scheme is type of operation. And it's absolutely absurd. Like, these are actually the people, if you want to instigate lasting change in Iran, these are precisely the people you don't want to bomb.
Right. So what is the connection between this campaign and Israel? And more broadly, can you talk about the connection, the historical efforts of Israel interfering in Iranian political affairs?
Historically, you can actually go back. One fascinating voice to look at in this is Major General Isaac Ben Israel, who is a Israeli general who actually spoke out against Netanyahu's opposition to the U.S.-Iran nuclear deal, because the U.S.-Iran nuclear deal did offer just basic security proliferation benefits across the region. It gave unprecedented monitoring of Iran's nuclear program, which is something we don't have now. We don't have any IAEA inspectors. We don't have any eyes or ears or knowledge of how much enriched uranium is in Iran right now. And the nuclear deal did that. It wasn't a perfect deal, but it did that. And it, I think it really, the way it ties back to Israel and AIPAC and even domestic politics here is the historical attempts by the hard right coalitions in Israel to support the clean break strategy and the remaking of the region and these sort of endless regional operations in Iran and Lebanon and Yemen and Syria, especially Iran in unprecedented ways recently. It's a lie in how the AIPAC lobby and how, like, a lot of the Israel debate is framed in America. People always say, and I was, raised at a Jewish day school, I heard a lot of this, people saying, "Oh, Israel wants peace. It's the Arabs. It's all the Arabs' fault." But there are 57 Arab states who would give Israel peace right now, along 67 borders right now. And Iran was in talks with the U.S. and wasn't threatening to directly attack Israel. Iran actually, contrary to a lot of the framing, has not directly attacked Israel in the last 2 years. They responded in limited ways, although they have killed Israeli civilians, and that's horrific. But again, the whole thing is avoidable. The U.S. could assert its position and leverage on the Israeli government, as it has always could, and restore diplomacy with Iran and continue the regional deal making that I think Trump and a lot of people want to see.
And also the body count, just to say, the body count of civilians killed by Iran versus by Israel is not comparable.
No, I think it was over about 25 or so to 1,000.
Yeah, the ratio is insane.